Here comes the danger up in this club. When we get started, man, we ain't gon' stop. We gon' turn it out till it gets too hot. Everybody sing, hey, yo. Tell them turn it out till they can't no more. Let's get this thing shaking like a disco ball. This is your last one and a courtesy call. Everybody sing, hey, yo. Tell them turn it out till they can't no more. Let's get this thing shaking like a disco ball. This is your last one and a courtesy call.
Huh. Haven't done one of these in a while. A Deku what if. So, yeah, this is going to be a new series of something I made up on my own. It's what if Deku had 100 healings? Now, I checked on YouTube and no one done this yet. Wait, hold up. Look, let me make sure. Yeah, no one has done this yet. So, yeah. I've seen what if Deku had a regeneration core, but not 100 healings. 100 healings is a completely different thing. Now, how this story is going to start off is that Deku is going to be born quirkless. Yeah, Deku's going to be born quirkless. And, you know, it's the 4 years pass. He gets told he doesn't have a quirk. And, you know, Inko, she doesn't really care. Like, what's the word I'm looking for? I forgot what it's called. Where a mother doesn't really have that connection with her child once the child's born. I don't know what that's called, but anyone can go in the comments and just write it down what that is. You're free to do it. But just know, yeah, that's what happened to Inko. She didn't exactly do anything bad. She just didn't have a connection. Like, she just didn't really care. And so, yeah, when she found out that Izuku didn't have a quirk, still, she didn't care. And so, yeah, you know, Inko, she driving Deku the opposite direction from home. And, you know, Deku, he's wondering. And he asks, Mom, where are we going? And, you know, she doesn't answer. And, you know, Deku just decides to shut up and see where they're going. You know, Deku, he a pretty smart kid. In his head, he doesn't want to think what his mom is about to do. But at the same time, he knows what she's going to do. He just doesn't want to think about it. And, yeah. His mom left him. And, yeah. I'm gonna say in this one, you know, Bakugo, he's been pretty cool with Deku. Minsky, she's been kind of like a real mom figure to Deku. Or the closest thing he had to it, because, you know, Inko, she just didn't really care. So, yeah. And, you know, Deku, you know, he's wandering the woods, sad that his mom left him. And, you know, Deku, he's, you know, wandering around the woods. He trips and kind of break his ankle a bit. Or, you know, hurt it really, really badly to the point to where he's not getting up. And, you know, he's crying. It's raining. He hearing the wolves howling. And, you know, he's just thinking to himself, this is it. That's pretty much what he's just thinking to himself. And so, yeah. And, you know, Deku, you know, due to the pain, he just kind of passes out. And so, yeah, you know, a woman in her, I would say, early teens. No, not early. I'm done. Early 20s, I should say. My bad. Early 20s. And, with black hair. And she's just been, you know, wandering the woods a bit just to pick up some herbs. And she sees Izuku on the ground, unconscious with a broken ankle. And he had some other bruising from falling from places, because he doesn't really know what he's doing. He's in the woods. And he has some scraping on his hand due to grabbing some of the rocks to get some higher leverage, but they was just, since the rocks are so jagged, it just kind of like sliced his hand open. And so yeah, the woman grabs Izuku and she's like, you poor thing. And she picks up Deku and puts her in her car and drives to her house. Now, she drives to her house and she just kind of keep looking back in the sea because, Deku hasn't exactly woke up yet. And she sees the amount of pain that he's in. And so, yeah. And, she gets to her house. She grabs Deku. And, the girl runs up to her room yelling, Tsunade! Tsunade! And Tsunade's like, what? I'm busy. And Tsunade's like, it's important. We have someone who is injured. And Tsunade's like, well, bring him in. And, Shizune brings in... Did I say Naruto? Am I just not realizing this? If I have, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Deku, if I've been saying Naruto, just let me know if I have been saying it. And Deku, he's laid on the table. Hold up. Alright, I'm back. So, Tsunade, she grabs Deku's leg and realigns his ankle, healing it, and heals any other injuries that she found on him. And yeah, Deku takes a couple hours to recover, but he gets up. He looks around and he's wondering to himself, where am I? And Shizune, she looks at Deku and says, oh, you're awake. And Deku's like, huh? What happened? And Shizune explains that she saw him hurt in the woods and she brought him home. And Deku, he's in a bit of tears because he thought the only people who actually cared about him was just Bakugo and Mitsuki. And so yeah, Deku, he's like, so what's going on? And she's like, oh, nothing much. I kind of been just waiting for you to recover here. And Naruto's like, oh, alright. And Shizune asks, where is your parents? And Deku, he starts tearing up a bit, saying, she left me in the woods. And Tsunade, she was listening in a bit. And she balling her fist. Shizune, she balling her fist like, how could someone abandon their child like this? And Tsunade just thinking to herself, I've always wanted a kid, but I don't know, should I adopt him? And she's thinking to herself and she's like, yeah, that's what I'll do. And Tsunade, she walks up to Deku, gets Iron to his level, and she says, hey kid, how would you feel if I adopted you? And Deku, he smiles, he's like, really? You would adopt me? And Tsunade says, yeah, always wanted a kid. And Deku, he hugs Tsunade and she hugged Deku back. And so yeah, Tsunade, she goes get the papers, the adoption papers and stuff, and yeah, Naruto, Deku is now Tsunade's son. Yeah. And Tsunade says, alright, let's change your appearance up a bit to make you look more family, like me and Shizune. And Tsunade, she used her medical ninjutsu on Deku. On Deku, changing his hair, making it instead of dark green, just jet black, and giving Deku uh her eye color. I forgot what color Tsunade's eyes are. I think they're like orange or something, or some kind of hazel color. And yeah, and Deku's like, thank you. And Tsunade's like, all right, kid. Do you have a cork or something? And Deku's like, no, I'm corkless. And Tsunade, she grins. She's like, oh, so what are you gonna do about it? And Deku's like, what do you mean? And Tsunade says, well, you don't have a cork, you want to be a hero, so what are you going to do about it? And Deku's like, but I can't be a hero if I don't have a cork. And Tsunade laughs, saying, who told you that, kid? And Deku's like, well, I just assumed. And she's like, kid, the cork doesn't make the hero makes the cork. And Naruto, I keep saying Naruto. And Deku, he's like, well, what about you? What is your quirk? And Tsunade and Shizune, they look at each other and they start laughing. And Deku's like, what's so funny? And Tsunade says, kid, I don't have a quirk. And Deku's like, wait, what? You don't have a quirk? And you're very, very good at healing. I would assume that you had a healing quirk. And Tsunade's like, nah. I'm just very good at doing stuff. I train my body. But, I've been in this world for a bit of a while. And yeah, I seem so obsessed with these quirk stuff. And Deku asks Tsunade, can you train me? And Tsunade, she nods saying, of course I'll train you, kid. And Deku, he smiles. And he trains with Tsunade. And I'm gonna go to the Bakugo residence. And Minsky, Bakugo, they're sad that Deku's gone. They think he's dead and stuff. And Minsky just angry at Inko, like, how could you leave out your child? And Inko, she don't really care. It's just, it is what it is with her. And so yeah. And Bakugo, he's just hoping to himself, like, I hope he's alright. And so yeah, I'm going to time skip like 11 years. And imagine the training Tsunade gave Sakura, but times 10. Imagine that. And so yeah, Naruto, he mastered the 100 healings. He can punch really hard. He has the diamond on his forehead. He can punch really hard. He can heal. And Deku is technically kind of immortal in a way, because he can heal from pretty much anything. And so yeah. And Deku, he says thanks, Mom. And Deku, he can use chakra. He can do pretty much the obvious essential things that a shinobi could, just with 100 healings. And so yeah, Deku, he's walking, and the sludge villain attack is happening right now. And All Might, he was dealing with some stuff. He did take care of the sludge villain the first time, but he jumped in the air a bit too hard, causing the ball to slip out. And yeah. And Bakugo, he's still a little depressed about Deku, who he thinks is gone. But yeah, he kicks the bottle, the sludge villain comes out. And yeah. And Bakugo, he's pretty much suffocating in the sludge villain. And a kid is walking by, And the Pro Hero's like, hey, kid, get out of there. You gonna get hurt. And, you know, Deku, he's not saying anything. And, yeah. You know, he's walking up to the sludge villain, like, and the sludge villain just looking at him like, kid, what are you going to do? And, you know, Bakugo, he's looking like, is that Izuku? He's thinking to himself, but he looks so different. But wait, Izuku has green hair. What's going on? And, you know, all these questions just rushing in Bakugo's head, all on the fact that he's dying. So, yeah. And, you know, Deku, he cocks back his fist, and he punches the air super duper hard, causing the sludge villain to just explode off of Bakugo. And, you know, Deku, he grabs Bakugo, put him down, and he does a move kind of similar to the Detroit Smash, kinda. And so, yeah, you know, the sludge villain splatter all over the wall. And, yeah. You know, sludge villain get back up like, damn it. You gonna pay for that, kid. And, you know, he get that inspiration he was needing. And, you know, he comes in with a Detroit Smash that, you know, changed the weather and is in canon. And, you know, All Might asked Deku, or tell Deku thank you, but at the same time that was pretty dangerous, kid. But thanks. And, you know, Deku's like, oh, no problem. And, yeah. And, you know, Deku, he's just walking by. And, you know, Bakugo, he's walking like, hey, you look familiar. Do I know you? And, you know, Deku, he's like, I don't know. Do you know me, Kachan? And, you know, Bakugo's like, wait, only one person calls me that. Midoriya, is that you? And, you know, Deku says, yeah, it's me. And, you know, Bakugo, you know, him and Bakugo do like a best friend handshake that they used to do when they were kids. And, you know, he asks, like, what happened to you? You look so different. And, you know, Deku's like, yeah. After I've been out in the woods, and, you know, he explains the whole Tsunade happened, helping him, living with Tsunade, getting training from her. And so, yeah. And, you know, Bakugo's like, well, it's great to see you. Will I see you in the entrance exam? And Deku's like, yeah. And Deku's like, alright, I'll see you later. And Bakugo's like, yeah. And, you know, Bakugo, he's like, wow, I can't believe he's here. This is going to be a fun year. And, you know, he leave out. And, you know, All Might, he pops out of the corner saying, you know, the same thing in canon. And, you know, Deku just look at him as, you know, he deflates. And Deku's like, oh, shit. Is he alright? And, you know, All Might explains the whole injury thing. All for one. Him having a fight that pretty much sealed his fate with being a hero and stuff. And he don't have that long, so he need to pass down his quirk to somebody. And, you know, Deku's like, oh, you said you have a pretty nasty injury on you? And, you know, All Might says, yeah, as he pulls up his shirt. And Deku's like, haven't seen those in a while. And, you know, Deku, he says, I can heal that for you if you want. And All Might's like, wait, you can? Because I've been to almost every single doctor, and not one was able to heal me. So, if you say that you can help me, kid, alright. And, you know, Deku, he heals All Might. And he's like, wow, kid, I feel 100 times stronger. And, you know, Deku's like, oh, don't mention it. Now, that way, now you can be a hero for a bit longer, I should say. And, you know, All Might, you know, he's flexing a bit. He's like, wow, you actually helped me, kid. Well, what do I owe you? And Deku's like, oh, nothing. Just try not to get another nasty injury like that again. And, you know, All Might, Deku, they laugh, and, you know, they they leave. And, you know, Deku's like, huh, I guess everyone needs help. Even the number one hero. And, you know, he leaves. And, you know, he's walking to his home where Tsunade lives at and stuff. And, you know, he gets there. And Tsunade says, oh, Deku, you're here. And Deku's like, yup. So, I'm going to... Yeah, I got 6 months to train for the 10 months for the entrance exam. And she's like, oh, alright. So, you think you can handle more of my training? I can crank it up even times 100. And you know, Deku, he's getting shivers down the spine. Like, getting it times 10 is already bad enough. But times 100? And you know, Deku's like, yeah, I'll pass on that one. I already got someone who's going to help me train a bit. And, you know, Tsunade's like, oh yeah, who? And Deku says the number one hero, All Might. And, you know, Shizune and Tsunade's like, you met the number one hero? And Deku's like, yeah. Come to find out that he had a pretty bad injury on him. But I fixed it up for him. And, you know, Tsunade is looking like, well, that's pretty good. Seems like even the number one hero needs help. They said as they all started laughing. Now, I'm going to end it right there. So, yeah. Leave a like, comment down below, subscribe. And I was saying this one, Deku has a bit of Tsunade's personality. You know, just a bit. But it's kind of like 50-50 with Shizune's nice side and Tsunade, you know. So, yeah. So, just imagine Deku with a bit of Bakugo's angry personality. But only in some cases. So, yeah. With that being said, I'm Anime Rage, and I'm out. Peace.
Yeah, I keep it tall on me if they got a screw look. They messing with my big homie, they must be a damn fool. I buy me some jewelry, under pressure I stay round the clock, tone fuller. Class clown back in high school. I'm in love with designers, meant to taste. Laying down the recliner, stay in place. And you know I keep it rockin', got a 40 in my pocket. Niggas said that I'm the plug, and I ain't talking socket. For your love, run the race. Cockpit, I drive, detour out of space. Never been so high, used to feel in last place, but now I fly by. Dior on my way, pull the trigger, he's fried.